Hey everybody, Richard here with CRG Games, and I found one of my other decks. I forgot I had this. It's been a little while since I've played it, and it actually wasn't in my normal bag, so I didn't even know where it was. But I found it. This is an Oloro deck, and it's probably not any normal archetypes that people play. It's kind of like I would consider a janky deck, but it doesn't do anything super overpowered. It's about $1,000 is what this deck came out to be. It was like between 9 and 1100, so we'll say $1,000. And this is a Judge promo Oloro Ageless Ascetic. Now, if you don't know, this doesn't technically have eminence, but it essentially does because you can gain life while it's in the command zone. So that is very important. So we'll start off here with some basic lands. There's no snow-covered theme in this deck. They just are in there for basic lands. Generous Gift. Great way to get rid of permanents. Keyword permanents, not just like creature. Propaganda makes people not be able to attack you unless they pay that extra tax. And kind of the theme in this deck is to survive, make it expensive for people to attack you, and then win with alternate methods. And I'll show you how that is. Propaganda, Oblation. This will get rid of stuff. Season of the Witch is an additional tax on it. It's actually on everybody, but you can pay 2 life during your upkeep and not destroy this. So if you don't pay the 2 during your upkeep, Season of the Witch goes away. But at the end of each player's turn, if they have untapped creatures that they could have attacked with but didn't, well, they have to destroy them. Unless they happen to be indestructible. So I guess we'll see what we've got for indestructibility. I'll hammer its archive. That goes in with the life gain theme. Michiko Kanda. This is like reverse annihilator. If they a source, right? Just a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, they have to sack a permanent. So it's like it's another tax. If you don't want to sack a permanent, don't deal damage. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Ties into the life gain theme. Baird, this applies a tax for attacking you. Esper Sentinel is a body and it can help you draw cards. Aetherios, God of Passage, happens to be indestructible, so it doesn't get destroyed. And it's another big body out there for blocking. Ancient Tomb for producing additional extra mana, and the 2 damage to you doesn't really matter that much because of Oloro. Fierce Guardianship, the best EDH counterspell, in my opinion. Treachery, this essentially lets you take people's things for free. So while they're not attacking you and their things are sitting on the board and you've got mana to spare, well, just take control of what they got, untap some lands, and move on with your day. I mean, it's great. It hurts people, except for you. It doesn't hurt you. River of Tears, this is from Future Sight. Love this one. Authority of the Consoles. This is one of my favorite turn 1 plays. Slows everybody down except for you. And it's only a 1-drop. I mean, that's freaking amazing. And it happens to be foil. It's pretty nice. Teferi, Master of Time. This is primarily in this deck used for card draw. Magus of the Tabernacle. This is a pretty neat one. When I saw this card, I was like, yeah, that has a home in this deck. Pay 1 or sack the creature. You know, it's your opponent's choice. Phyrexian Etchings. This is a great method that I use, I think, to draw cards. So you put the age counters on it, and you draw a card for each age counter on Phyrexian Etching. Now, you do have to take damage if it's put into a graveyard, but if it's not put into the graveyard through, say, maybe Oblation, well, there you go. You don't take any damage. Heliod Suncrowned, an additional indestructible creature. Good stuff. Clock Spinning. So clock spinning in here is used, and that's a Time Sparrow foil. This is used to manipulate the counters on things. And since you can buy it back, if you've got enough mana, you can continually do that. Day of Judgment. Destroy all creatures. That's this symbol is from Explorers of Ixalan, if you didn't know. It's not a symbol you see a whole lot, to be honest. Teferi's Protection. This is from Commander 2017. That's the OG. Regular Old Island, Marsh Flats, Extended Art, Modern Horizons 2, Hallowed Fountain, Shocklands. I freaking love Shocklands. Celestial Convergence. So this is one of my win cons, and I have gotten to win with this before. So it comes into play with 7 omen counters on it, and through clock spinning, you can manipulate those. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an omen counter from Celestial Convergence. If there are no omen counters on it, the player with the highest life total wins the game. As you can see with Oloro, it becomes easy to gain a lot of life. If 2 or more players are tied for highest life total, the game is a draw. I freaking love this card. It's janky, it's strange, it's weird. It probably almost never sees play, but it's super fun, and I freaking love it. All right, get rid of these. Archangel of Tithes from, this is also from Origins, and it imparts taxes on other players as well. Render Silent, just a counter spell, and then it makes them not be able to cast spells. Vampire Hexmage. So this is a great thing because with Celestial Convergence, it has the omen counters on it. Comes in with 7. Vampire Hexmage, you can sack it to remove all the counters. So when it's time to win, and you've got this out here, you're going to play Vampire Hexmage, sack it, remove all the counters, and as long as you survive until your next upkeep, you should be able to win the game. At least that's as I understand it, and I did look at the ruling, so I hope I understood that correctly. Because at first I thought, well, you sack this, remove the counters, and then you instantly win. But that is not the case. You have to go back around. I don't remember the exact thing. There was a confusion there, and I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, it's because at the beginning you remove an omen counter on it, but you have to go through an upkeep for it to see all the omen counters gone. All right, Dispel, just a counter spell. Mothra, Supersonic Queen. I think this is just a great way to just bring stuff back. If your creature dies, you just bring it back with a flying counter on it. No harm, no foul. Redain, God of the Worthy. Reliquary Tower, of course, for drawing cards and keeping them in your hand. Drowned Catacomb. Exotic Orchard from Conflux. And Vault of Champions Extended Art from Commander Legends. So, Wall of Tears. This is a great inhibitor for people to attack you because if it blocks, you return it to their owner's hand, which is great, although it can backfire if they are attacking you with things that allow them to get ETBs. Veto, of course, this is Veto's just a great card. Helps you gain life. Blind Obedience, also a great card. Soul Ring, gotta have it. Nashi, Moon Sage's Scion. I don't exactly remember why I put this in here. Let's see, when it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library until end of turn. You may play one of those cards if you cast spells, so I pay life equal to its mana cost. Oh yeah, because you can cast cards and pay life equal to its mana cost, and you've got plenty of life, so you're good. Now this card here, Ixodron. I first encountered this on MTGO, and I remember I was playing Animar at the time, and I had all these creatures on the board and whatnot, and then a guy played Ixodron, and I was like, what the heck is this? I'd never seen this card before, never heard of it, and it flipped everything. And there are very few things in the game that allow you to unflip cards. It's very hard to interact with them that way. They just become 2/2 creatures with no abilities. Now, if they have counters on them, the counters stay, as far as I understand. But Ixodron is great because let's say you got a complete board state, you're kind of mid in the game, late game, everybody's got stuff out, their commanders, all that stuff. You play Ixodron, if they don't counter it and it ETBs, all other non-token creatures in play get turned face down. They're just 2/2s now. They don't have any abilities, you can't do anything, they're just 2/2s. And you got a big old Ixodron. So, this is a freaking jank card. Super jank, but I freaking love it. And I probably say freaking too much. Luminarch Ascension. This is a great way when you're gaining life and you're not losing it. You can put out angels, and I put out a crap ton of angels with this thing. Solemn Simulacrum. Sad Robot. Arcane Lighthouse. Kambal. This is a great way, again, to gain life and make other people lose life. Isperia, Supreme Judge. Card draw. Glimmer Void for a mana of any color. Hedron Crab. This is just a good card to have, I think. It allows you to mill people. Karlov of the Ghost Council. So whenever you gain life, so he gets really big. And a lot of times in this deck, you'll have a lot of different instances where you're gaining life and multiple times per turn. And each time that happens, you put 2 1/1 counters on him. So yeah. And then if he gets really big, you can start removing the counters and exiling things. It's really, really good. Chill. This is literally just in here to, hurt red decks because I'm not playing any red cards. And it's cheap as far as mana cost goes, so why not? Counterspell, gotta have it. Plains, Loyal Drake, this is for card draw. Wall of Omens, card draw. Glacial Fortress, just a good land. Polluted Delta, of course you gotta have a few fetches. Command Tower, auto include. Sphinx's Revelation, this is again great for life and card draw. That's literally what it's for, and it works fantastic. Piracy. I don't think this card's had many printings. I think it's only been a couple. This is Portal Second Age, and it's just an interesting card that a lot of people have not seen. This turn you may tap your opponent's lands to help you pay for your spells. As long as they're in the same colors. I mean, you can use their lands to pay for, colorless costs, but some of the things in this deck can be quite expensive to play. Like if you're using clock spinning and buying it back multiple times, it helps to be able to use other people's lands. Because you cast it and then you pay its buyback cost. So I believe it works that way. You can use their lands to pay the buyback cost because it is part of the casting cost. If I'm wrong, please put it in the comments. Magic isn't called one of the most complicated games for nothing, but it's satisfying. Thalia. Slows down everybody else. Righteous Valkyrie. This is a great card because if you have at least 7 or more life in your starting total, your creatures get +2/+2. And you're probably going to have 7 or more. Sarah's Ascendant. Obviously, this is an auto include in a life gain deck. Watery Grave. Archon of Absolution. Again, this is just another tax-inducing card. Cleric class for life gain and counters and all that other good stuff. And Stormscape Familiar, white and black. This is white, black, blue, so this obviously makes sense in this deck. Plus, it's one of my favorites. This is a, what was it, Plane Shift, I think? Plane Chase Foil. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Always trips me up there. Storm Herd. I've gotten this off once and created, I had so much life and created a crap ton of, was it Pegasi? Pegasuses? Maybe, I think it's Pegasi. And I won, obviously, because they're freaking huge, but there's a lot of them. Ghostly Prison, tax. Frozen Aether, this slows everybody down except for you. And it's nice because it applies to lands as well as the artifacts and the creatures, so I like that one. Light from Within, this probably isn't actually, actually considered a good card, but it's interesting, and the art is freaking sweet. Freaking love that. Chroma. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each white mana symbol and its mana cost. And there's a lot of creatures in here that have white mana in their mana cost, so that helps. Land tax. Get more lands. Voice of the Blessed. So like in this example, this would get +2/+2. And then when you gain life, you put counters on it. Voice of the Blessed is a great card in this deck. Another counter spell. Sunken Hollow. Got Plains, Temple of the False God, excellent mana, double mana producing land. Grand Abolisher, this helps make sure the things that you're casting, they happen, right? They resolve. Arcane Denial. There are 2 versions of this card, actually, Sword and Axe. This is the Sword. He's got a sword there. Weathered Wayfarer. This is the... I don't think it's the list. This is actually the mystery booster version, I do believe. Prairie Stream. A lot of color producing lands in this deck. So like a Blood Moon would really shut this down. Diplomatic Immunity is one of my all-time favorite cards in Magic. Just because if you get it onto something, it stays, right? So if you put Oloro out and you don't plan on doing anything else with him, boom, boom. Well, I do like this right there. Can't be the target of spells or abilities. Diplomatic immunity can't be the target of spells or abilities. So it's very hard to get rid of things when they've got diplomatic immunity in real life and in Magic. Aether Spouts, they never see it coming. Hex Parasite. This is also a card that I use to manipulate the counters on things. And this is also a foil. This is very cool. This is from New Phyrexia. A Darkar Wastes from 10th edition. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. This is incredibly helpful, especially when you're paying a lot of different costs in the deck. This helps you do that by, producing extra mana. And then just a regular random snow-covered swamp. So, that is Oloro. The name of the game is Survive. Make it harder for your opponents to do anything, to you at least. It doesn't necessarily stop them from doing things to other players, and then you get out, Celestial Convergence, and then you win that way. That's the whole goal of this deck, is play Oloro, get out Celestial Convergence, use Vampire Hexmage. Where'd my other buddy go? I lost him. Ah, there we go. So you get Oloro out, and you use one of these other 3 cards here, basically. Or just let the counters run out themselves, but that doesn't normally happen. These 3 are going to help you get the counters off, and then at your next upkeep, hopefully you're going to win if you got enough life and you played it right. There's enough counter spells and removal in here to make it happen. This deck is not, I don't consider this to be overpowered. There's nothing crazy in here. There's no infinite combos that I'm aware of, at least. It's just kind of a little bit of a janky deck, and it's, hey, sit back, don't touch me. I'll win the game. That's kind of all it is. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you got any, suggestions, put them down in the comments. I believe I explained everything correctly, but Magic's a complicated game. But once you get it down, it becomes very satisfying to play. And I of course, really like Commander. That's mainly what I play. And I'm looking to build some like a Pioneer or Modern deck, but I haven't got there yet. So if you enjoyed that, subscribe if you aren't already. Like the video, throw a comment down below, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.